Alright guys, this is stuff we've gone over and gone over and gone over. Foil, first, inner, outer, last. Make sure you know how to foil for the test. The other thing we need to make sure we understand, that if I had, this is going to be a problem off the review, 6x minus 2y quantity squared. If I have something like this, quantity squared, it's going to be 6x minus 2y, and then I'm going to write it again. This negative, or this 2 here, tells me to write it again. So, I wrote it again, and then it's going to be the same thing we did last time. We're going to foil, first, inner, outer, last. First being the first 2 terms. I'm just going to multiply those. Anytime you multiply your first 2 terms, this is the one term that's going to have an x squared. So this is going to be 36x squared. My next 2 terms that I multiply, normally it's just going to have one variable, and this time, since we have 2 variables, it's going to have 2 variables in it. It's just going to be a combination of the 2. So this is going to be negative 12xy. And then I'm going to multiply my inner terms. So this is going to give me also a negative 12xy. And then my last 2 terms I'm going to multiply is going to be my last 2 terms. This is always going to be something negative or positive. So, and then the last 2 terms we're going to multiply, that's going to give me a positive 4y squared. Then combine my middle terms, same thing I did last time. So 36x squared minus 24xy plus 4y squared. Yeah, we're getting into factoring. Alright, on this one, the easiest thing to do is, first things first, set up 2 parentheses. If you want to rewrite this problem, so it's what we've used to seeing, x squared plus 12x plus 27. So all I did was rewrite it in the order that I'm used to seeing. So here, what am I used? How do I get x squared? Well, that's once again the same thing. X times x. How do I get 12 or 27? 1 and 27, 3 and 9. I think that's it. From here, because of this positive sign, that tells me that whatever I multiply, I'm going to be adding those terms together. So I'm going to add those terms together here. The only reason why I can just add these is because, guys, when I multiply times x, it's just going to give me 3x and 9x, or 1x and 27x. And that's why I'm going to combine them. So when I do this, this gives me 28, this gives me 12, and so it's just going to be 3 and 9. That's going to be a plus. If that was a minus sign, both of these would be negative then. Guys, if it's ever a plus sign, doesn't matter what it is, it's always going to tell you that the signs when you factor are going to be the exact same. Alright, so same thing. First thing I'm going to do is set up 2 parentheses. So here I'm going to say what times what gives me 3x squared. And now I'm going to say what times what gives me 4. And so now from here, since it's a plus sign, my signs are going to be the same. What are my signs going to be? They're both going to be positive. If this is a minus sign, I'll do another example. If it was a minus sign, it would tell me that they're both negative. So here, because 8 is small, I'm going to try 2 and 2 to check my work. In FOIL, I'm going to do in FOIL, to check my work, I'm going to multiply or look at just the OI. So my outer terms, I'll say, what does that give me? That gives me 6x. And then I'm going to multiply my inner terms, and that's going to give me 2x. Can I combine those? Since it's a plus sign, can I add those to get 8x? I can. That gives me 8x. So that's my answer. Alright, so here, same concept, except for I'm just going to play music and do the problem. So I'm going to try 3x and 3 and 2x and 7. And I'm going to check my work by doing the OI. So I'm going to multiply 3x times 7. That gives me 21x. I'm then going to multiply here, and that gives me 6x. Because of this minus sign, I'm going to be subtracting. Is there any way to subtract 21 and 6 and get 5? Well, no. This is going to give me 15x, no matter how I subtract it. So, I'm going to now switch the 3 and 7 and say, is that going to work? So I'll put the 3 here, 7 there. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing I just did, except I'm trying to erase. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I just tried to do. And I'm going to say, does this give me my correct answer? So, that gives me 9x, 3 times 3, and this is going to give me 14x. Can I subtract those in any way to get a positive 5x? Well, yes, if it's negative 9 plus 14. So that's going to help me change my signs. So 3x times 3 gave me 9, but I need a negative 9. So that means this is going to be a negative. If that's a negative, my other one's going to be a positive. If that's ever a minus sign, my signs are going to be opposite no matter what. Alright, now we're going to go over examples from the review. Before I get into that though, let's go with another song. So I'm going to pick it. Alright, since it's a plus sign, we're going to use the second one here. So all I'm going to do is go, what times what gives me 125x squared? So that's going to be 5x. What times what gives me 27? That's 3. And since the y cube's added there, so it's just going to be y. The next part, guys, if I take 5x and I square it, I have to square it this way. So I'm multiplying 25x times 25x. So, 5x times 5x, which gives me 25x squared. I'm just going to multiply them together. The rule tells me if it's a plus sign, it's going to change to a minus sign. So that's going to give me 15xy plus 9y squared. And that is my answer. If it's a minus sign, the only thing that would change would be these two would flip-flop. My positive negative sign. Alright, so if I talk here about the transformations of this equation, all we're saying is, what does the plus 1 do to the graph? What does the minus 3 do to the graph? What is the 2? The 2 is going to make it narrower. The plus 1 is going to shift the graphs inside the parentheses. It's always going to shift it left or right. In this case, since it's a positive 1, it's going to shift it left 1. And the negative 3 is going to shift it down 3 units. So that's all that talks about. If I wanted to find the vertex here, my vertex is just going to be negative 1, negative 3. My axis of symmetry on these is just x is equal to whatever my vertex is. So it's going to be x is equal to negative 1. If I wanted to find the y-intercept, I would rewrite the equation, and everywhere I saw an x, I would plug in 0. So this is going to be 2 times 1 squared minus 3. Guys, when you talk about this, you're going to square it first, then multiply it times 2. So my y-intercept is going to be 2 times 1, which is 2, minus 3. And to write my y-intercept, it's going to be 0, because my x is always 0 on the y-intercept, negative 1. Domain is always going to be all real numbers. My range, since it's concaving upward, it's just going to be y is greater than or equal to whatever this value is. So depending on what it is. The next one we're going to go over is, let's go over number 16 on the review. So y is equal to 2x squared plus 12x minus 11. So the first thing I want to do is find the axis of symmetry. Well, the formula for the axis of symmetry is negative b over 2a. So in this case, it's going to be the opposite of whatever that was. So if it's positive, it's going to be negative. If it's negative, it's going to be positive. So it's going to be negative 12 over 2 times 2. So it's going to be negative 12 over 4, which is negative 3. So to write it, I'm going to write it as x equals negative 3. So that's my axis of symmetry. To find my vertex, I'm going to use my value for my axis of symmetry, and then I'm going to plug it back in. So 2, negative 3 squared, plus 12, negative 3, minus 11. This is going to square this first. So 2 times 9, minus 36, minus 11. 18 minus 36 is negative 18, so negative, I don't know if I did the math correctly, 29. I think that's it. So that should be your answer. The y-intercept. So the y-intercept here, if I let all of my x values be 0, I'm just going to be left with my negative 11. So once again, it's concave up. So my range is going to be y is greater than or equal to, because it's concave up, whatever that value is. So negative 29. Alright, so this is all I'm going to do. I'll do one more. Just number 13 on your review. Make sure you understand this. I'm given 2 points on the graph. So let's just say they're there. This is negative 8, 7, and this is 12, 7. Axis of symmetry is going to cut this line in half. So what we're going to do is find the midpoint between those 2 points. So to find the midpoint, all I'm worried about are the x values. So I'm going to take negative 8. I'm going to add 12 to it. I'm going to divide by 2. This is going to find where my x-axis is. So x is equal to this. So it's going to be x is equal to 4 divided by 2. So my axis of symmetry here is just going to be x is equal to 2. That is it.